What did your bloodline leave you? Was it systems or struggle? Was it fear or freedom? Many people think that they are broke and that their family is going through tough times because of the economy. And they don't know that they are going through all that struggle because of memory. Not their own memory, but their ancestors' memory. Chances are that if you are somewhere in Africa or you're an African listening to this, because this is particularly serious here, chances are that you have heard about deliverance from ancestral curses or from generational curses. Chances are that you yourself have even gone for deliverance from generational poverty, from generational curses. But you look around you and people go for these deliverances, but nothing has changed. And in some of those deliverance places and deliverance ministries, you will see father and mother there. You will see grown-up children there. Father and mother are already going for deliverance from generational curses, from generational poverty. And in that same deliverance ministry, the children, 4 of them, have also gone for deliverance. And for 20 years, father and mother have not been delivered. And for 20-something years, the children have gone to the university. They are still being delivered. And they notice that the struggle that their parents had has already started blowing up on them. So today, I'm going to give you the 1% rule. Very powerful. It's okay to go for deliverance. But if you go for deliverance and you don't practice this 1% rule, I'm going to share with you tonight the small changes that lead to generational wealth. I'm telling you, you can go for deliverance all you want. They can pour all kinds of oil on your head, pray all kinds of prayers, like it's going on every day. And it is still there. Because there's one thing, which I'm going to tell you tonight, that all those people going for deliverance, there's one thing that they overlook. And this is the bloodline, the bloodline rule, the bloodline situation. What you got from the bloodline. Your blood contains information. It contains data dating back to your ancestors 100, 200, 300 years ago. This is not a religious thing. It is a spiritual thing. But it has a solution. So you probably have been struggling all the years of your life. Now you're in your 40s and 50s, which is really my audience, people over 40. You're probably even in your 60s. And you have been concerned that you are passing on. You've already started seeing the signs, the little signs of struggle, of financial struggle in your children. Even though you're already in your 60s, the children have already picked up from the same struggles that you had. We'll change it tonight. The 1% rule. So as you join, type 1% rule. Type the 1% rule in the chat section, in the comment section, because as you know, I like interaction all the time, and this is what actually makes it very lively, for me and also for you. So type 1% rule, 1% rule in the comment section. Okay, so let me talk to you. First of all, let me set the background, because I'm not against people doing deliverance, but I'm a scientist. And a scientist would always ask, is this working? Did it work? So they've taken you to your village and they've dug a live egg and whatever it is that they say that somebody dug and planted in your compound, that is why your family is experiencing problems. That's why there's poverty in your bloodline. That's why you have generational curse, ancestral curse. I mean, it goes by all kinds of names. But I keep asking, do you take time to ask, did it solve the problem? Did it solve the problem? Many years ago, I met a woman. She came to my place of worship. She was looking for deliverance. And she told me that that was the 11th or 12th place that she was going. 12 churches, prophets, all kinds of people. So my dear African brothers and sisters, we can solve this problem. I was raised for this. That's my mission. And what you're going to hear today, if you practice it, you'll be shocked what's going to happen, even in 365 days. Okay, so there's something called epigenetics. And if you are not familiar with epigenetics, please make a note of it in your journal. I need you to read about it, and I need you to listen to guys like Bruce Lipston. I forget the spelling of that, his surname. I think it's Lipstein or something like that. Bruce, he's a famous biologist. I listen to him a lot. And he talks about epigenetics. So you need to understand what epigenetics really is. And then all of you in deliverance ministries, you need to understand that word, epigenetics. So it is the science of how trauma, stress, habits, fear, and all kinds of behaviors get transmitted, get passed down without changing your DNA. You know, I'm a biologist by training, and my thesis in the university was on cytogenetics. I actually majored in genetics. So this is a very familiar territory to me. But as at the time I went to school, in the 1980s, I went to the university, the science of epigenetics was already existing by that time, but it wasn't as mature and as clear and as convincing as it is today. So at that time, our understanding was that inheritance was only through the DNA. But we now find out there is non-DNA inheritance. In other words, you can inherit cell memories, you can inherit memories, habits, stress, trauma. This is why, if you have observed carefully, if a woman or a man comes from a divorced home, the chances, and then many times the people who come from divorced homes, their parents or their grandparents also faced divorce. So there are people, if you look around you, and then if you have seen, you can confirm it, no matter the country you're watching me from. There are people in their third and fourth generational divorce. Their great-grandparents divorced, their grandparents divorced, their parents divorced. Now, they themselves have gotten married, and then they want to. Now, people will talk about, all this deliverance and then demons and so forth, but it's actually epigenetics. Okay, so these things get passed down. You find expressions, even in our language, in different languages. You find it in English, you find it in, I don't know about French, but if you speak French, you can also confirm. You find it in Nigerian languages, you find it in Ghanaian languages. They say, like father, like son. And when you look at it, absolutely the same thing. I was with a man who, he has a son. And everything that happened to that man, the man is getting to 70. But his son, almost everything that happened to, it was to a frightening degree. the child graduated about at the same age with the father, like bought his first car at exactly the same age, all kinds of things like that, just, sound mysterious. But epigenetics is very real. Okay. Ada of Charles says, I have thought hard and long. Please help me get in. Okay. All right, we'll deal with that later. So it means that you can inherit your great-grandfather's hunger, even though you've never lacked food. It means that you can also inherit scarcity, like an invisible cloud sitting on top of your head. So these invisible inheritances happen. And then you find yourself, okay, you're educated. You have very good jobs. You're well paid. Better paid than 10% of your country. But you still have this scarcity in your head. You still rewash toothpicks. You rewash toothpick to use when there's absolutely no reason to do that. What is the other thing that people do? Yeah, there are people who rewash their toothpick. They wash the toothpick and then keep it to use again, even though they have a lot of money. Where did that mindset come from? So now, the trauma of money fights, the trauma of poverty, the fear of trying and failing. There's also the so-called near success syndrome. There's also something around being accident prone. Your grandfather, he fell from the palm tree, broke his left leg. Your father was trying to jump, broke his left leg. Now you've also broken your left leg. So all these things. Then there is the shame of poverty. These things don't die with the dead. These things don't die with the dead. And then maybe many of you who are biblically inclined might be saying, I don't believe that this is sounding too esoteric or something. I thought so myself until I started seeing it in there. It said that Abraham, that Levi paid tithe in the loins of Abraham. Levi paid tithe to Melchizedek in the loins of Abraham. That's what your Bible said. Now, you had Abraham, you had Isaac, you had you had Abraham, you had Isaac, you had Jacob before you had Levi. 4 generations. And the scripture said that this guy who was never born at the time Abraham met Melchizedek, they said that he was in Abraham's loins. He was his loins. You can say, if you like, his sperm cells in his genes. And Levi paid tithes to Melchizedek. 4 generations before the guy was even born, before his parents were even got married. These things are serious. Okay? So many of these things don't die with the dead. This is why I always tell parents, and I always tell myself, anything you don't want to show up in your children and your children's children, don't do it. Don't say, oh, they are not looking at me. Or don't say, oh, they are not here. Or don't say they are small. They are just a baby. So you're sleeping around, or you travel to a different country and you go there and you're sleeping around. I mean, your children are little. They are only babies, 6 months and 2 years. It doesn't matter. Don't say it doesn't matter. If you don't want it to show up in the lives of your children, born and unborn, don't do it. Don't do it. Sometimes, your child just wakes up and says something or does something and it shocks you because the child did exactly what you were doing 20-something, 30-something years ago in the dark when nobody saw you. Okay, so these things don't die with the dead. They don't die when you die. They sit in the blood. So your blood is recording all the things that you are doing. And it passes it even after you are dead. Now, they sit in the blood until somebody, and that somebody is you, listening to what I'm talking about tonight, until somebody consciously interrupts that pattern. Until somebody consciously interrupts that pattern. All right, let me pause a little bit and interact with you. Tell me, is what you're listening to tonight, is it making sense? Is it giving you some ahas? Is it already opening your eyes to something you never thought about? Tell me something. Is it something that you see happening around you? In your own family? Yeah. Chidema says it's relatable. So I see some of you from Jamaica. Decode Her Mind is from Jamaica. Tell me about Jamaica. Do you see these things happening in their bloodlines? You know, this is why I respect the ancient people in my village, these old people and these elders. In my village, before you marry, I don't know, maybe young people, this generation have come on and then tried to destroy so many things. The wisdom of our ancestors, they are trying to destroy it. But in those days, if I go, and they did it in my time, if I go and tell my father that I have seen a girl that I want to marry, or the girl goes to the parents and says, Dad, someone proposed to me and I want to get married to him. In my village, they have what they call Ijo Ajuju. What that basically means is ancestral research. Ancestral research. Somebody type it because it might save your life. It might save your life if you're going to get married. Type ancestral research in the comment section. So in those days, I witnessed it in the 60s. Growing up, I was a baby. I was an infant in the 60s. But in the 70s, if somebody comes and says to their parents, we want to get married, they say, hang on first. Then they will raise a committee of elders who will go to your village, to the village of the person who wants to marry you. Without those people knowing, they had their own ways. You know, it's just that somehow in Africa, we didn't record things. We didn't write. And because we didn't record things, there's just so much we've lost. So much wisdom that we've lost. These people, so many things that science is discovering today, there are things our ancestors in Africa 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 years ago already knew and they were doing. Today we talk about, okay, is the person genotype SS or AS and AS and our ancestors, they knew all those things, whatever, you know, they knew. So they will go there, do this research, and they will come back and say to you, my daughter, no, you're not going to marry that one. And you might cry, oh, but he's a very good man. He's very good. He's very kind. He bought me a car. I didn't even ask him. He's really very kind. I like the way he opens the car door for me. I like the way, you know, he treats me. He even knelt down to propose to me. And your father and uncles will say, don't go. That this man's father was a thief. He stole chicken. His father stole fish. They went to the river to fish. And when everybody was out there trying to drag the net, the man stole fish. His uncle from the mother's side was also a thief. He stole yam. They caught him stealing yam in somebody's farm. They say you won't marry you. Oh, but daddy, this man, he's born again now. He's not a thief. His father was a thief. His grandfather was a thief. His uncles were thieves. But that doesn't mean, and they will tell you not to go. It's because of this thing I'm telling you, epigenetics. And then you go. And when you go, the day your eyes open, you say, I should have listened to them. Because of epigenetics, because it's in the blood. And you have to consciously interrupt the pattern, which is what I'm going to tell you to do today. I'm going to show you how to do that. and we end generational poverty in your family. We will earn and destroy the generational curse tonight. Tonight. It's not going to follow you. It's not going to follow you into the next morning, if you listen very carefully. And then, good news is, I've also prepared, or I'm preparing, a worksheet, because I've discovered that many times people hear the theories, but they don't know how to put these things. That's why I design and create worksheets to help you think through, and then sometimes to sit with your family and use the worksheet to work yourselves out of this situation. So there's a worksheet, and I'll tell you how to get it when we are done. And while we are talking about that, have you heard the African proverb? He said, what killed the grandfather? Mushroom. What killed his father? Mushroom. And where is he right now? He's in the bush picking mushrooms. The wisdom of our ancestors is there, confirmed by epigenetics. So until you name the cycle, because we're talking about breaking this cycle, so that thing will end with you. Until you name the cycle, you will repeat the cycle. Please type it in the comment section. So we want to break that cycle of generational poverty. And so, until you name the cycle, you will repeat the cycle. Yeah, Ijoma has a funny comment. Said the worst person to advise is a man or woman in love. Very true, especially a woman in love. Especially a woman in love. It's tough. I agree with you, Ijoma. That's a very wise comment. They won't listen until they go there, and then their eyes clear. Okay, so let me now focus on the importance of money education in breaking generational curses. Money education is so important. They may deliver you all year. Every day they deliver you, every day. But if you don't sit down and learn about money, my people will perish for lack of knowledge. Not for lack of money. Okay. So, most of what is destroying us financially didn't start with us. It started with silence. What do I mean by it started with silence? Let me explain. No one explained what a stock is. Some of us grew up in our house, finished university, never heard the word stock. How much more stock market? No one showed us what a system for wealth looks like. And that's why some of us, and many of us, are in our 40s and 50s. We don't have a wealth system. And the secret of generational wealth is system. That's why I was asking you in the beginning. Did your bloodline live for you? Did he leave system for you? Did he leave system and structure for you? Because if there's going to be a generational bridge, there must be a system and there must be structure. Nobody sat us down to talk about that. But then instead, every day, children will see their parents fighting about their school fees, arguing about money every single day. And then the children will now internalize all those money arguments as normal. And you see that if you don't take care, the way that your mother and father argued about money is exactly the way you are arguing about money with your wife right now, also in the presence of your children, who internalize it, and then that's how they will also argue with their spouses when they grow. This is powerful, positive and negative. So, my parents lived all their lives. None of us ever saw them for once. I never heard my father one day raise his voice on my mother. Never. The only thing I remember was that every night after we were going to bed, my father and mother would stay. They were really love birds. They would stay in front of the house. Gisting, there was no NEPA, there was no, under the moonlight. They'll be there talking. My mother will be laughing. My father, you won't hear his voice because the man was very funny. But he will crack joke. My mother will laugh. And the whole of the midnight. but the man, you hardly hear his voice. Those were my memories. And today, how dare I? So I thought, so when I hear men raising their voices on their wives, my God, it's like, what? I mean, it's culture shock to me. But for them, it's normal because that's what they saw. But for me, I never saw that. I never saw those money arguments. I never saw those fights. And that's why it's not in my house. Now, but if it is happening to you, you have to name that cycle and break it. Every day you are arguing, you are insulting your husband in the presence of the children. You are destroying their own marriage ahead of time because they are going to take that like it's normal. So your daughter gets married and then she starts insulting the husband. Not because she intended to, but it's in the blood. The blood recorded it and passed it on to her as normal. So, poverty is rarely the absence of money. It is the presence of deeply conditioned fear. It's the presence of inherited fear, deeply conditioned, working subconsciously. So that's why you must commit to 1% of daily financial literacy. Type it in the comment section. Daily financial literacy. Everybody. I really need this to sink. Okay? Yeah. Augustine, yes, said yes. No one showed us system for wealth. Yeah. Yeah, Stella said, up till now, I don't know how stocks work and what they are. You see? You see? And how old are you, Stella? Tell us in the comment section. Yeah. Isaac, yes. Until you name the cycle. Until you name the cycle, you will repeat the cycle. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Okay. All right. 1% daily financial literacy. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what that means. So this means that if you improve your financial behavior by just 1% every day, 1% every day, that's the rule. I'm not asking you to make a quantum leap, quantum change, earth-shattering change. Just improve your financial behavior. 1% a day. At the end of a year, you are not going to be 365% better. This is where the magic is. This is where you start to break generational curse. It's not just about all this deliverance every day. They finish delivering you the next year. Next year becomes worse than the year before. But if you do this every day, you are not going to be 365% better. You are going to be 3,778% better. Just doing once. Improving yourself once every day. Okay. I did put one in the comment section. The corn snake killed the head of the household. The python killed the community chief. Yet it is the child of the house who pokes his hand or pokes their hand into the snake's hole. Absolutely. This is powerful. Epigenetics. Okay. So this same math, when you improve 1% every day, you get better 3,778% in 1 year. So that same math that grows money can grow a new bloodline, because what you need is not the same bloodline. You need a new bloodline. And so compound ignorance builds generational pain. Compound improvement builds generational peace. So let me give you a real example. So if you invest 1,000 naira every day, or maybe $1 or maybe $10 every day for 10 years, just that, you will break a cycle that has been there in your family for 100 years. Do you see the connection? Do you see how that generational curse is broken? Just by this insight alone. Just by this insight, this behavior. 1% a day. And you do that consistently for 10 years. You have completely destroyed the cycle that has been running in your family for 100, 200 years. Okay, so not because of the money itself, but because of the system behind the money. It's not because of the money. It's not because of that 1% improvement every day, but because of the system behind the money. That's how you break a cycle that has been there for 100 years or more. Okay, so let's talk about the 3-step bloodline system. 3-step bloodline system. So number 1, we are now talking about implementing that 1% rule. Okay, so bloodline reset system. So number 1, just track one money habit every day. Track one, not two. One money habit every day, because what you track is what you transform. Peter Drucker told us that you can't manage what you don't measure. You cannot manage what you don't measure. That's why sometimes, when you go to the clinic, they do your blood works, they do all that to get the data, because they cannot prescribe or give you a diagnosis if they don't understand the data, if they don't measure something. And then they have to measure it over time. So it's exactly the same thing. That's how you track one aspect of your finances, of your family finances, on a daily basis. So you can spend like 3 minutes tracking. It could be your cash inflow. For some time, begin to write things down. Your cash inflow, your expenses, your net worth. See, because it's only when you track those things that you can transform them. So in my first book, which I wrote in 2008, Financial Freedom for Every Youth, I did tell a story how, even though I was working at the time in Chevron, the time that the story I told in the book happened, I was in Chevron. And then I was having all kinds of financial situations, financial embarrassment. I was earning a lot of money, but at the end of the month, I never saw the money. I didn't know where the money went. And then my wife would be asking for money to fuel her car. And then there's no money in the house. And I look back and it's like, what in the world did I do with this money? So religious people came to say, oh, there's something called they call it they said as a demon that steals money from your pocket. They have all these kinds of terminologies. And they said I should go for deliverance. That there's a demon that hides in your wallet and eats your money, like a money-eating demon. They have a way of labeling these things, and they said I should go for deliverance. I didn't go for deliverance. But you know what I did? Instead, I said, okay, for this 1 month, let me track my expenses. So I started tracking my expenses. At the end of the 1 month, I delivered myself because I saw the demons. Those demons were not the ones. I saw the demons. You know what the demons were? The demons were, for those of you who know Mr. Biggs was a big thing, where you get all these fast foods, sandwiches. What are all those things? I stopped eating them long ago. Meat pies, and then you drink, soda. And so sometimes I would just take the children and let's go to Mr. Biggs, and then we'll go there. And by the time I was leaving that place, 7,000 naira, that's a lot of money at that time. 7,000 naira in 2008 would probably be like who knows, like $100 or something like that, or more. That was a lot of money. I discovered that the demons eating my money, demons in quote, eating my money, were the random things I bought by the roadside. I liked banana in those days like crazy. I liked banana. I would always stop, even when I was not hungry. But I see banana, I must buy. Banana and groundnut. I don't know who discovered that combination, but when I tracked those expenses, it was crazy. I said, so those are the demons. So the reason I tell you this story is that I couldn't have dealt with my situation if I didn't sit down to actually measure those daily money habits, I would have followed them for deliverance. I would have followed them. Only God knows what they will put inside my head. But I did the deliverance by tracking, and then because I could track those things, I could transform them. So this is how you pull scarcity into the light. This is how you pull the generational curse into the light. Measure them, track them, pick your net worth, pick your expenses, your spending behavior, pick your savings behavior, pick your inflow, your cash inflow, and things like that. Then track them so that you can transform them. So type track and transform. Track and transform. Oh, really? Seda said that there's banana in every meal, a Somali culture. Yeah, that was, you did just with a meal. But mine was, even if I'd eaten and I was just coming from a buffet, from a 5-star restaurant, and I see banana, I could never drive past banana in those days. I could never drive past, and I didn't know how expensive such innocuous behavior or habit was. I didn't know until I wrote it down. I never knew how much eating junk food, how expensive it was, eating junk food, until I tracked that behavior and transformed that. Excellent. Okolo says, Austin says, how did I see this as I'm eating banana and granules right now? No, I didn't say you shouldn't eat your banana and groundnuts, okay? So the point I'm making is just track your expenses so that we'll be able to transform it. Okay, step number 2. Learn one new insight about money daily. I am 60 this year. I'm going to be 60 in a few months this year. I learned like crazy, and almost every day when I'm live, I tell you to look at these books behind me. And I say, I touch them and I tell you, they are not wallpaper. I read, there's just so much to read, so much to learn what was going on. You know, I woke up today, every day now, because I'm learning cryptocurrency, I'm learning crypto, bitcoins and crypto and all that, blockchain. I'm reading up, I'm learning a lot more about them. And so I read about it every day. I try to understand one thing about it, because crypto is vast. What are coins? What are contracts? What are P2P? All kinds of things. What is on-chain transfer? So many things to learn. But I learn one every day. And the more you learn, the more you earn. Did you know that? The more you learn, the more you earn. So, money grows in informed minds. Because of what I'm learning. And now, I woke up this morning and I saw that my crypto wallet had just, it was crazy. Like in one day, like 20-something% in one day. And then I was looking at my P&L, and the P&L went from like 800 yesterday when I showed some of you in the Financial Fitness Challenge to 1,100, 1,200 overnight. And I'm like, what happened? And I didn't realize that Donald Trump signed something today. I'm still going back to read what he signed about bitcoins, about crypto into law. So governments are adopting bitcoins. It's no longer becoming like the random thing that young people were doing in those days, and then that looks like a scam or look like a get rich quick. The crypto is, you are going to be dragged into it, whether you like it or not. So I'm learning every day. So at 60, I'm learning and I'm earning and I'm making money every day. So learn one thing, one insight about money every day. Watch a video. If you're watching this video for the first time, my channel has videos, like over 500 videos like this. If you sit down and listen every day, and also do the worksheets, or you also join the Financial Fitness Challenge, that's my mentorship, my monthly mentorship group, you're going to be in for something. There's no way you will not learn, because the more you learn, the more you earn. So do this every single day. Set out time to read something uplifting, to grow your mindset for wealth, because the money is not in the market. The money is in your mind. Your mind is the access to the market. The money is actually in the market, but you don't have access to it. And you have access to it to the degree that you're financially literate. So your financial illiteracy is a thermostat. Your financial illiteracy is a psychological barrier. It perpetuates the generational curse. So your financial illiteracy will perpetuate generational curse. And if you want to break generational curse and step into generational wealth, you've got to break the curse of illiteracy. So do this every single day, because you are not just learning, you are unlearning inherited confusion. Wealth loves clarity. And when there's so much confusion in your mind about wealth, about systems for creating wealth, about the rules of wealth, and all these things, when there's confusion in your mind, you can't make money. So you will unlearn the confusion. Better still, you are now going to pass on, you are not going to pass on confusion again to your own offspring, to your own children. You're not going to pass it on to them. Step number 3, take one financial action weekly. Mine, I do daily, but I'm just saying, if you're starting as a beginner, take one financial action every week. There's always something you can do in your personal finance to lead you to your to fulfilling your financial goals. So do one thing every day. It could be open an investment account and then invest every week. Every week. No matter the amount. Don't wait until you have millions. Me, I've invested 700 naira is the equivalent of what? The equivalent of maybe like 50 cents. I've invested 50 cents because there are stocks, even with that 700 naira, there are many stocks you can buy, things you can buy today. You can buy for penny. And then in another 10 years, it will shock you. Did you know that in the year 2000, I was in the United States in 2001. In the year 2000, Apple shares sold for $1.13. Did you know that if in year 2000, I've worked this math out in another video, related video. If you had invested $113 buying 100 Apple shares in 2000, I worked it out that today, in 2025, that money would be worth $2.3 something million. And I was there in the United States, but I didn't know. That's why we're talking about financial illiteracy. I didn't know nothing about Apple. I had money there. I could have bought, if I wanted, I could have bought 10,000 shares of Apple. And I had an account with a credit union in Bollinger Canyon, San Ramon. I had an account with the credit union over there, and I had that money. Can you imagine if I had bought 10,000 shares of Apple in 2001? I probably wouldn't be here. So it's to your advantage that somehow it didn't happen, because I probably wouldn't be here doing this, for you. Or maybe I could have been doing it, just because it's still my passion. But my grammar would have been a little bit polished, a little bit different if that had happened. But I didn't know. And now, but regret is not a strategy. I'm looking forward. But the thing is, you don't make the same mistake twice. So I can't make that same mistake twice. So open an investment account, invest every week, no matter how much you have. 50 cents, $1, $10, 1,000 naira, 20 CDs, whatever it is you have, 10 rand. There's always a stock you can buy. Just keep buying. Okay? So automate your savings. And then when you are doing this, you know what you're doing? You're building infrastructure. there is generational poverty, generational curse in your family because there was no infrastructure. There's no wealth infrastructure. So this thing, if you do it every day, you are building infrastructure. Okay. So as we round off, let me tell you something that no one talks about. You don't need more income. You need a new financial identity. You need a new financial identity to go with the new bloodline that you are rewriting. Because wealth is not what you have. Wealth is who you are. And that's why learning and mindset transformation is important, because as you are being transformed, you are going to assume a different identity. Paul wrote the Romans. He said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how do you renew your mind? You've got to get the right information here. You've got to study, sit, meditate with the right information. Okay, so that you are not just going to remain a salary earner, you're going to become a wealth system builder. So I need you to say to yourself, just say it, I may not hear you, but just put your hand over your heart and say, I am a wealth system builder. And that is my whole goal, like in the Financial Fitness Challenge. Not just to teach you invest in stocks, invest in crypto and all those things, but to be a system builder, not a stock trader, not a forex trader, not a real estate person, but to be a system builder. So hold yourself, tell that to yourself until you mean it. Just say to yourself with confidence, I am a wealth system builder. Say it with confidence and then tell me in the comment section how it felt when you said that, okay? So you are the person that your ancestors prayed would come. You are the interruption to that cycle. So when you practice the 1% rule, you break the spell of fear. You tell your blood, we don't do mushrooms anymore. That's what you're doing. You're talking to your blood. You talk to your blood. And that is what the 1% rule will do for you. Why? Because if you don't interrupt the script, that ancestral script, the script becomes your children's struggle. I have never met a parent, like a sane parent, that is one that is not psychotic, that not a psychiatric parent. I've never met a normal parent who wants the children to see the children struggle. And I'm not talking about shielding them from hardship, because the children should experience hardship so that they know how to, because hardship is a reality of life, even if you are born in a family of billionaires. So children need to learn resilience. We are not supposed to shield them. But I'm talking about hardship that is imposed on them, not the hardship like the normal course of life. No parent I know wants to pass on struggle to their children. And the 1% rule is the key to do that. So this is no longer about you. This is about every child that will carry your name, or every child that is carrying your name. Will they carry pain, or will they carry systems? That's the question you have to answer tonight. So every day you ignore financial literacy, poverty gets one more vote in your family. Okay, so every day you commit to the 1% growth, you send a notice to your bloodline. And you say, what does that notice say? The struggle ends here. All right? You are not just saving money, you are saving a generation. So don't look at yourself as just, because the worst is, I've seen men, like a particular man I engaged sometimes, some couple of years ago, because every day, whenever they close at work, he came there with his buddies, about 4 or 5 of them, they'll be there drinking beer. And he told me that, as at that time, I don't know if the economy allows him to drink up to 5-7 bottles. He said that he drank every day. So they will start drinking around 5 p.m. I will see these people sitting in a table at a bar, drinking. I had an office close to them. That was how I got to talk to that man one day. And I said, are you married? He said, yes. Your children, they were very young, still in primary school. And so, in the morning, you leave for work and go to work. Then, at evening, when you close work, you come to drink with people. And you stay there. He stays at your past 11 past 11, before he goes home. Now, those children are already asleep. And then tomorrow, a prophet will tell those children that it is ancestral spirit. That is generational curse. You are setting up the generational curse for the children. You are setting up the struggle for them. How can? I said, no, you're a father. This child needs you to do homework with him. This child needs you to read her, read her bedtime stories, to bond with her. But every day, day in, day out, you are here drinking. No contact with the child, and you think he's just paying school fees. You pay school fees and all that. You are setting up trouble for the future. Okay, so here is the information, important information. We hold my mentorship every month, but in the month of August, next month, I'm taking a break from the live sessions. You will still continue to see my videos on YouTube, but I'm taking a break from live sessions, from the daily, weekly live sessions for the month, and also from Financial Fitness Challenge. So what you need to do to be part of it, because we are going to resume in September or October every month, you can join the wait list now. So what you need to do is go to the description of this live video. The description has a link that you click, and it will take you straight to the Telegram group, the wait list. So join the wait list, so that when I'm back from my annual leave and then we announce Financial Fitness Challenge, you will know exactly when it's starting, and then you can pay and join the program. And what I'm doing, meantime, for those of you in the wait list, I still give you things. I post things, and then once in a while, I'll give you worksheets. Like this particular worksheet, I think I'll develop a worksheet. If you want, you can say we want in the comment section. So if you really want, I can develop a worksheet to help you to implement everything that I have shared with you this evening. And then more importantly, to even sit with your spouse and with your children, if you're married and you have a family, to do it together. So go to the description of this video, and then you will see how to join the Financial Fitness Challenge Telegram waitlist group today. And then once we start the Financial Fitness Challenge in September, I won't just teach you money. I will teach you to rewire bloodlines. I will teach you to rewire your brain and rewire your bloodlines, because what I've discovered over the years, many years of doing this, is that making money it has little to do with studying money. It has a lot more to do with studying consciousness. So that's the second level, and that's what you learn there. Because if you can build the consciousness for wealth, then wealth is automatic. It just comes to you. It comes begging you. And so when I say that money is easy to make, that's actually what I'm referring to. And you will learn that during the Financial Fitness Challenge. Okay, so right now, if you're already in the Telegram group, make sure that when you go to that Telegram group, or if you're already in a Financial Fitness Telegram group, go there and then type your aha moments. I always like to read your aha moments, because it helps me to know what next to create for you. Okay, so any aha moments today? I can take 3 minutes. I can take 3 minutes and read a couple of aha moments, and then we'll get ready for the next day. Yes, I see Isaac says the more you learn, the more you earn. Yeah. Ivan says, I'm also addicted to groundnuts. You're delivered now. Okay. Nelson says, wealth is not what you have, but who you are. Absolutely. All right. This says money is in the market, but requires money literacy to access it. Absolutely. Yes. System, wealth system builders. Absolutely. All righty. Stella says, my aha moment is tracking my expenses, my cash flow, and then transforming them. All right. Okay, so it's been a wonderful evening with you as usual. So go out there, be the last man standing. Tell generational struggle that I am the last person in my bloodline that generational curses, generational struggle stops here right now. And whatever happens, keep showing up, because you have no idea what's coming your way next. I love you, and I'll see you same time tomorrow evening. Good night.